Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. The wait is set. We need music. We need mood music while we're waiting to start the webinars. But with that said,
yeah, it was very quiet. It was very quiet.
It's really quiet. Well, we'll get started if Renee and Jenna are ready. We appreciate everybody joining us today. We are recording this webinar, so it will be available for you to look at out on our website, and will be sent out to all that registered. I know others will be joining us as we go along, but I don't want to, everybody's time is precious. So I'd like to get us started. So I wanted to welcome Renee Hoggay from the National Restaurant Association Solutions and Jena Henderson with WorkMerk. They're going to be introducing two different topics, but they're interrelated. So we brought them on together. Renee will be reintroducing to us the ServSafe Dining Commitment, letting you know the updated criteria, the benefits to your organization, and the reach of this program to the consumers. Following that, Jena will be introducing us to ServSafe Ops and how this tool can help your business and establish good habits with your staff through training, communication, and enforcing operational procedures. So with that, I am going to turn this over to Renee to start this off. If you do have questions, please use the chat feature, and I'll be monitoring that and let Renee know that there are questions when we get to the end of her presentation. With that, though, I will turn this over to you, Renee. Thank you for joining us.
Perfect. Well, thanks for the intro, Hope. I do appreciate it. As mentioned, my name is Renee Hoggay, and I'm the National Restaurant Association Sales Manager for Regional Accounts in the Northeast. For many of you, you're ServSafe point person, but also a fellow PA resident. Based in the southwestern part of the state. The ServSafe Dining Commitment was originally launched in 2020, and it was designed to help build consumer trust, as well as demonstrate what restaurants were doing and continue to do to keep patrons and employees safe. As the industry continues to make its recovery with guests and staff being vaccinated, our messaging continues to evolve. But it's still rooted in our foundation of safety and compliance. Now, the goals of the ServSafe Dining Commitment are to increase on-site dining frequency and to promote consumer confidence. And we're doing this by using our safety and training standards that ServSafe is known for, which demonstrates a restaurant's ongoing dedication to the health and protection of their employees and guests. Next slide. In Pennsylvania, we're launching a targeted cable commercial campaign, and that's to help educate consumers about the commitment and what it means when those patrons see the seal on a restaurant door, window, sign, or even menu. So Eric, would you please play the commercial associated with this endeavor?
Dining experience has always been our goal. The rules haven't changed. For over 3 decades, restaurants have turned to ServSafe to keep diners safe. So when you see the ServSafe Dining Commitment decal, know that your health and safety are a top priority. So you can sit back and enjoy dining out. Remember, when you dine, look for the sign.
Thanks, Eric. While he's re-queuing the deck, I'll just add that this commercial started airing in the greater Philadelphia area on June 18th, and will continue doing so through July 18th. So it's possible that you've already seen it. We're running 870 of these commercials and are gaining approximately 7,353 cross-screen impressions. And those are those video ad campaigns that are launched simultaneously over multiple devices, such as mobile phones, tablets, and even desktops. This is all done by using various APIs, which are those interfaces that allow software solutions to communicate with one another. So think of it like the engine under the hood that reaches out to all of our customer audiences. So let's talk a little bit about the program requirements. Next slide. Thanks, Eric. To help support these ServSafe dining commitment efforts, operator and consumer-facing landing pages have been developed where restaurants and guests can learn and visit to know more about the commitment. ServSafeCommit.com, as you're seeing here, is where operators go to register and pledge their locations to the ServSafe dining commitment. Now, the commitment itself focuses on adhering to regulations, as well as training the staff on the new sanitation and safety procedures, which, like everything else, is going to continue to be updated as the COVID-19 landscape changes. So first, individual restaurant locations, as you see here, are going to agree to follow the association's safe operating guidance document. And that's based on FDA and CDC best practices. But it focuses on 4 key areas, and those being food safety, cleaning and sanitizing, employee health and personal hygiene, as well as social distancing. Now, second, these restaurants are going to pledge to adhere to the laws and guidelines set by the specific state and local municipalities. Third, the ServSafe dining commitment requires at least 1 certified food protection manager per location. Now, Pennsylvania as a state currently requires 1 certified manager per shift who needs to be accessible during all hours of operation. However, there's some counties like Philadelphia, which require the physical presence of that manager per shift. So basically for step 3, you're already doing it if you're in compliance with PA state law. And finally, a commitment to train employees as safe food handlers. And to encourage them to take ServSafe's free COVID-19 training courses. Next slide. Now, in order to make the pledge, each restaurant location visits ServSafeCommit.com to register. And it's usually the general manager of the location that serves as the designated contact. And he or she's going to enter their name as the official point person. A unique email, which is typically the unit's email address. Some basic operational information, including address, restaurant type, and number of employees at the location. And then as well as the ServSafe Food Protection Manager's name and his or her certificate number. Individual locations can register with the info pictured here, or if you have multiple brands, you can make the commitment as an organization and just let ServSafe make it easy. Our team will register all of your restaurants into the location finder via a bulk upload registration form. So we're going to take the work out of it for you. Next slide. Participants registering on our operator landing page will receive a variety of customizable digital assets with recommendations as to how and where to use them. And this is all to help spread the word that they're open for business. And that's once that pledge is made. Now, the marketing tools include high resolution decals for use in a variety of areas, which can all be sent to the printer. Links to our standard ServSafe brochures, posters, and both of those are on general food safety. We also have employee record of commitment certificates that could be prominently displayed with employee ServSafe certificates to reassure guests that your restaurant staff has been trained in the latest food and serving safety procedures. And then there's also a digital marketing kit. Next slide. ServSafeDining.org is where patrons go to see if their favorite restaurants are signing up for the ServSafe Dining Commitment and what they've committed to do when their guests dine out. The rules haven't changed. Providing safe food and a safe place to eat it has always been a priority. What has changed is now you can see which restaurants have made the choice to show you safe. When you see the ServSafe Dining Commitment seal, you know that your health and safety are a top priority. Patrons can relax, create new memories, as well as enjoy their dining experience. And the ServSafe Dining Commitment is so much more than just a simple promise or pledge. It means that a restaurant is serious about food safety and has a sense of purpose for keeping you safe. Next slide. patrons can enter zip codes and find nearby restaurants who have made the commitment that are already ready to serve them. Now, to the right, pictured here, is a snapshot of a few of the organizations that are already participating. And as you can see, we have large chains, as well as thousands of independents already coming on board. To give you a scope, though, of ServSafe Dining Commitment website traction here in Pennsylvania, I thought I'd give you a couple statistics. To date, there's been approximately 120,000 sessions. And that's the number of times that the site has been visited. And that could be multiple logins or it could be single. But that said, there's still over 100,000 unique website users. So we're getting a lot of traction and by multiple people. As a matter of fact, Pennsylvania has the 7th highest patron traffic in the country. And so far, 300 Pennsylvania restaurants are listed on this participating map. Next slide. Now I know we've covered a lot today, so I'd like to ask if there are any questions, Hope, in the chat box. And if not, here's my contact info if anyone's interested in learning more or would like to join our ServSafe Dining Commitment. Hope, do we have any questions?
I'm not seeing any in there. I think that was a pretty thorough walkthrough. So I think if we do have any, oh wait, here, one just came up. How does this relate to ServSafe training our staff gets?
So they kind of are intertwined, and it's actually a great lead into what Jena will be talking about as well. So the commitment of the individual restaurant locations, in addition to following those state and local regulatory and following the operator guidance, is that we also do require one manager trained employee per establishment. Once again, Pennsylvania actually requires one per shift, although that person doesn't physically need to be present. You're in Philly. Okay, so you need one per shift anyway. So you're already doing what you need from a compliance standpoint regarding the manager portion of it. We also ask that you have your employees ServSafe food handler certified and approach that, but there's not a specific requirement in doing a set number. So if you're already ServSafe certified and you're following your state and local regulatory guidance, and you've taken a look at our operator guidance doc and would like to learn more about our food handler training, you're already there. You'd be ready to sign up for that. So I'd say, MG, reach out to me after this. Here's my contact info, and I can assist you further. Is there anyone else?
I don't see any others coming up, but you do have Renee's contact information, so definitely be able to reach out to her if you have questions after you start the process, or myself. You can reach out to me too.
Perfect. That's right. Hope knows all about it. So, well, that being the case, I'd like to now pass the baton to Jena Henderson. She works with WorkMerk and is going to provide an overview of our ServSafe Ops initiative. Jena?
Thanks so much, Renee and Hope, and to everyone for having me on the call this morning. I'll give just a quick background. I spent 20 years in restaurants, and so hospitality is really in my blood, and I'm proud to work with WorkMerk on really bringing a tech solution specifically for the restaurant industry that helps not only with everyday operational efficiency, but with data and checklists and employee motivation and training. I know from running restaurants that there are a million things that happen on a daily basis. And so having a tool that puts all of the things that you need to do in the palm of your hand and your staff's hand is something that we're really passionate about. Next slide. And so we have partnered with the National Restaurant Association to present you ServSafe Ops. The idea is that we are empowering the winning habits that you are already doing and your staff is doing on a daily basis. And we've also worked very closely with the PRLA to make Pennsylvania one of the first states that we work with for ServSafe Ops. I personally live right outside the Philadelphia area, so this one is near and dear to my heart. And so some of the things that this technological tool offers, and by the way, it'll be on a couple of slides, but because you're a member of the PRLA, we're offering this to you for 6 months for free. We know that restaurants have really been put through the ringer over the last 18 months, and candidly, anything that we can do in conjunction with the National Restaurant Association and the Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association, anything that we can do to help support the industry is what we're after. So some of the things that the technology provides is digitization of standard operating procedures. This is about checklists. And I will show you in a brief demo in a few moments what we mean, but probably my favorite example is when I was running restaurants, I had a list of things that I needed to do that day. And they were really important things for customer satisfaction, for sales building, for food safety. And then I would get to the restaurant and the key would break in the front door and the toilet would overflow and 2 people would call out and the truck wouldn't show up. And so all of the things that were really important for my day got pushed to the wayside because I had to deal with whatever was on fire that morning. And so the application takes all of those things and puts them in the palm of your hand so that you remember that there's an opening, a midday, and a closing checklist. It helps enhance a culture of safety. Really off of what Renee was saying about the ServSafe dining commitment and ServSafe and partnering with restaurants to help show what we know you're already doing, which is taking care of your customers, whether it be checking temperatures or properly putting away the delivery that comes in from a cross-contamination perspective. This application houses a lot of that information so that you have it. It gives you access to training and information. And you'll see when we show you the application that it's not just training and information from ServSafe, the National Restaurant Association, and the PRLA, but you can also put your information for your specific restaurant. So what we've done is take the application and fill it with data, checklists, news, and training that we think would be helpful to you from an industry perspective, but then we're also going to take your specific information and put it in here as well. So if you want to roll out an LTO, if you want to talk about a new human resources policy in your restaurant, we can do all of that through the application by helping configure it to your needs. The hope is that it improves operational efficiency, that it will remind you of things to do. And we'll talk about nudging in just a moment. And then it will verify that those things have been done on a daily basis. It's also an internal communication tool. You can keep a library of important documents so that you're not digging around on the 3rd shelf under the souffle cups to look for a manual that may or may not be covered in Caesar dressing, personal experience. But it's going to put everything in the application for you so that you can really pull it up as needed, whether it be training documents or checklists. It'll also give you data. So all of this information we're talking about rolls up from a data perspective so that you can take a look at how the employees are performing and what tasks are being completed. Next slide, please. So this is what we will show you in a moment from a demo perspective, but I wanted to talk through just the basic tech features of the application. So the first is what we call a nudge. This is really a reminder. And this is the foundation upon which the WorkMerk platform and ServSafe Ops was built. Because all of those things that I just said, checklist, training, opening list, closing list, midday, sometimes you forget. Sometimes the key breaks in the front door and you simply don't get to them. So our nudging platform will remind you of those things. So let's say you want your opening checklist to come at 8 a.m. every day. It's going to send you a reminder to complete that checklist. And you can set those nudges up in our robust administrative portal, just like you would an Outlook calendar invite. So they can reoccur every day. You can set them for a certain date and time. And all of that can happen on the back end that we would provide training for. There's task consolidation in the checklist that we talked about. There's also an issues tab. I can't tell you the number of times that I would have some of my teammates in the restaurant walk by a leaky sink today, tomorrow, the next day after that. A leaky sink isn't a big deal until it becomes a flood of the kitchen floor. And there's no way to really track those things currently. So the application has an issues feature where you can literally take and annotate a picture and then send that on up to the manager so that they can categorize as needed by food safety issues, cleanliness issues, maintenance issues, and then get them taken care of in a timely fashion. As discussed, there is training included. And so should you sign up for this free application, you would have access to the ServSafe free COVID training. There are also 90 restaurant videos that talk about things like how to calibrate a thermometer and knife sharpening skills that you can give and provide to your team. In addition, you can upload any of your own training information. We do have, as part of our premium package, a work text feature, which is really a risk mitigation tool so that employees aren't talking to one another via text and then you have no record. And finally, information. We have already input a great deal of information from the National Restaurant Association, from the PRLA, from the FDA, the EPA, the CDC, all of the acronyms that you're getting emails from every single day right now with a bunch of different information. And this way it gives it to you at your fingertips. And so I would love to show you all a demo so that you can actually see. Just confirming. Renee, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is the ServSafe Ops application. Something to note is that we would brand this logo at the top here with your specific restaurant logo, so that as your management team took a look at the application, it would really be your restaurant specific piece of technology. Because as I said, not only does it have NRA, PRLA, ServSafe information in there, but it would have your information as well. So I'll start with the messages that will blink and alert you when you have one, just like any other notification on your telephone. And this is really our nudging platform. So what you'll see here is the 3 different types of nudges that we have. We have a feedback nudge. So as an example, what is the most effective form of employee recruiting that you've used in the last 30 days? I do not need to tell the people on this conference call that finding staff right now is, to say that it's a challenge is an understatement. And so it'd be great if we could survey all of the restaurants in Pennsylvania and then share some best practices with all of you about what some of your fellow restaurant operators are doing. And they can just enter a response right back in here. I'll just put test for expediency. And then we can go submit, and we can roll up this information. There's also a poll nudge, so a simple yes or no. So if you are rolling out a limited time offer in your restaurant and you want to know if your management team has reviewed the rollout guide that you've sent for the start on July 1st, you can simply ask that question and we can get an immediate answer. It's done in real time. And then there can be a direct nudge where we can say, please review this information. And we can attach a video, a PDF, a link to a website, and they'll just say, got it. And so we'll be able to tell who has reviewed the information that we've sent for each individual restaurant. Next is the checklist feature. And again, there will be 7 set checklists already included based on the ServSafe dining commitment. So that we can verify that all of the things that we know are happening on a daily basis actually are. But then you can input your own individual checklists. And we have a stellar operations and deployment team that will really take you through a white glove process of uploading all of your checklists. And have no fear, if you don't have your own checklist, if it's just something that's in the back of your head, we've worked with the National Restaurant Association to put together standard checklists for opening, closing, midday, bar areas, non-bar restaurants, so that we can help you with that as well. Here is an example of a checklist, and I won't take you through every one, certainly, but you'll see that they are simple yes or no. And then at the end, what we can do, and I won't submit this one, but you'll be able to see, we can actually attach these to a barcode. So let's say you have a deep cleaning monthly checklist, and part of that is to deep clean the walk-in. And you want to verify that that's actually been done. We could put a little barcode right on that walk-in and have the manager scan it, and it would confirm that the things that you had in the checklist were complete that day. We also have, as an example, the ServSafe dining commitment checklist that Renee talked about earlier in her presentation. So of course, we've all done these things. I'm going to sign off here and simply submit. And then what you'll see is that there's a check mark next to that checklist that says it's been complete. And I don't have any thumbs down because I did everything that I was supposed to do. And all of that information, again, can roll up on an aggregate level to the restaurant so that you can see what's being completed. The Issues tab is here, and I will show you quickly how this works. So let's just say food, and we're going to call out that an employee left food on the table. We're going to take a quick picture just by using your phone's camera. And then we can annotate that picture. So if you want to highlight something specific, we can do that right here. We'll say whether that is a normal or urgent priority. And then you'll be able to select a category, and those can be restaurant specific as well. We will already have categories loaded in here just from our knowledge of restaurants, but we can say cleanliness, and then we're going to go ahead and save it. And this will immediately be part of your administrative portal so that you can then go in and close them when these issues have been resolved. In the news section, we have a number of different news articles in here. So the vaccine tracker, facts about coronavirus, guidance for cleaning and disinfecting from the EPA. And then we can also input your specific restaurant news. In addition, we have a training section. So as an example, we have the ServSafe COVID-free takeout training, which is both in Spanish and in English. We have 6 different videos. And then once they've viewed the training, they can simply click, I have completed this training, and you'll have a record of, if you want managers to take a look at specific trainings, you'll know who's completed what. There are also reports, and then again, your library of documents. And then on the left-hand side here is you can contact support, update your profile. And Eric, if we can go back to the presentation, I'll give a little bit more info and then we'll open it for questions. So while Eric is pulling that up, one of the things I wanted to talk about was data. I've mentioned a couple of times that we can roll up this data. Here's what I want you to know. Your data will not be shared with anybody else. It's for the sake of having aggregate information. So we are, fingers crossed, past the worst of the COVID pandemic, although I will say its effects, I don't need to tell you, continue to be seen. But I never want to hear the words super spreader ever again, ever. And so what we'd like to do with this application is really aggregate information that proves what we already know, is that restaurateurs care about their customers. They care about food safety, and they're doing all the things they're supposed to every day. So when we get the information at a high level, it will not have your specific restaurant information. However, you may want to know how the employees are doing with watching training videos, if they've confirmed that they've read the rollout guide for the most recent LTO. And so you and only you will have your restaurant specific information. But we'll take the aggregate information to use it to provide some metrics to the industry to include all of you. Part of this is about offering best practices to fellow restaurateurs. Next slide, Eric. So some specifics, again, I will say free for 6 months, which is exciting. There is obviously a cost after that 6-month time period, but we've partnered and worked very closely with Hope and her team at the PRLA to offer specific member benefits. So while we have a price for the general public, the price for any PRLA member is $40 per restaurant per month after that initial 6-month free period. So we tried to make it really easy on next steps. And we will send out a link where you can contact our sales team, me directly, and we will have you sign up. All we have to do is give you the information to download the app. You can attend training, which will have at set times on Tuesday afternoons on the first and third Tuesday of every month at 3 p.m. And you can either use all of the things that we've have loaded in the app to start. And in addition to that, you can send us your information and we'll load it in as well. And then we're off to the races. Next slide, Eric. So I will open it up for questions. I don't think I see any in the chat, but Hope, anything on your end?
No, that was wonderful. Thank you for taking us through the demo and presenting all the perks that come with this app. I think it's definitely going to be something that businesses should take a look at, especially for the first 6 months with the free demo. I think it's a no-brainer. Don't see any questions in the chat. Oh, here goes one. Can you read it, Jena? I don't want to.
I can. The operations and deployment team have a separate charge for the setup during the first 6 months. No. There is absolutely no charge to you whatsoever for that first 6 months. And that doesn't matter if you put no custom information in the app for your restaurant or you put 100 pieces of checklist information. It is all free to you.
Oh, and
Renee,
welcome John Longstreet.
Yeah, Renee and Jena, thank you so much for being with us today. And all I can say is I wish that ServSafe Ops had been around when I was running restaurants. I could have used it. Probably would have done much better then.
Well, we're honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do see another question coming through.
Trainings actually come with a certificate of completion. They do not. So these are separate really from ServSafe training. So all of that would still have to be done through the normal course of ServSafe operations. While you will be able to see which of your employees watch the free training, your regular ServSafe training would still come through its normal course. I do not have my business card, but now that Renee had hers, I feel like I should have done that, MG. So
we will make sure to share that when we send out the information. But if you wanted to throw it up in the chat, your email right now,
I can absolutely do that.
And then we'll make sure to share that on the email that goes out, all the details.
I am putting my email into the chat right now, so feel free, and I will actually put my cell phone number in there as well, since there's not 10,075 people on this call. So feel free to call me or email. I can also set up a time to go through some specific things individually with anyone who's interested, but we're excited to have restaurants join this program with us.
No, we're excited to be able to offer this to the members, and we will be having Renee and Sarah and some of the other individuals going to some of the meetings to present this information again. So you will be able to, continue to ask questions and see the program live. And we will be sending this out as a recording, and we'll have, there are links out on our website to go to their website. So if you go under our education, it's under the ServSafe area, and it's under our preferred partners programs area too. So if you would, if you miss anything here, you can definitely go to our website and check that out that way too. Well, Jena, thank you. And Renee, thank you. These are both great programs to help us with our recovery and help us with getting ourselves organized in the future. I appreciate you taking your time to put this together and presenting this. Thanks, John, for a surprise pop-up. And thank you to everybody that got on the call today. If there are no many questions, we will be ending the webinar, but please feel free to reach out to Jena and Renee with any questions you may have, or myself. And I'll put my email in here just in case, which I doubt people don't know it, but that's my email. So if anybody needs that, please reach out to me because I can put you in contact with Jena and Renee too. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Jena, Renee, John, and everybody on the call, please have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
You as well. Thank you.